I'm recording this on the exact same day that I recorded the intro to a video called, what are we going to call this video? Random Crafts. So I want to get the intros done so that I can just work on the art because, long story short, not doing great right now. I'm never doing great, but I mean like physically, because my mum had COVID, right? She's better now, she's fantastic, right? But I'm you know, like when you feel you're about to get unwell, like your throat is starting to do that thing and your nose is starting to do that thing and you're like, oh my god, it's looming, right? And so I wanted, when I'm ill, like I literally learned how to play piano, like in the week that I was unwell was my most productive week in the world, but I just couldn't talk, I'd lost my whole voice. But I don't like to stay in bed and do nothing, even though that's like the doctor's advice, but I do like to just, even if I'm in bed, I like to be doing something. So I was like, right, I'm going to get the intros to my upcoming videos done today. So if I do get sick, hopefully I won't, but if I do, I'm just preparing for the worst. Never wrong to do that. It's always, my dad says, preparation prevents, swear word, poor performance. I don't swear on this channel. So prior preparation prevents poor performance. So if we prepare now, then we won't perform poorly, will we? No. That reminds me of like Peter picked a peck of pickled peppers, a peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. Reminds me of that. I could say that fine, but I struggle to say whatever it was that I said. Anyway, so this painting, we all remember this painting. We recreated it actually. Well, we not recreated it, we just did it better, because what had happened was I did this painting back in, oh gosh, not this house that I live in, not the house that I lived in with my parents, but the house before that one, like this tiny little apartment that we lived in, or flat as we called them here in England. And I remember doing it in my tiny bedroom, and I had all of like the Coke bottles which I painted and then like put them all over my bedroom. They took up the entirety of the bed and the floor. So this is what I call the Coke bottle picture. It's got 6 Coke bottle pictures. They range in like a red background, orange background, yellow, green, blue and purple background, and then you've got the Coke bottles. And I've tried to like, the colours may look random on these big ones. They're kind of quite hard to see actually, but they're not random. For example, like there's one red cap, one orange cap, one yellow cap, green cap, blue cap, purple cap. You see what I mean? And there's like only this bit here, there's only one red one, orange, yellow, green, blue and purple. And they all do kind of have like a specific way that they've been coloured. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to put this on my wall in my kitchen, right? Or the wall in the hall, no, in the living room. I just need things for that wall, because as we can see, this wall now is completely covered. All of these walls are completely covered now, but I've got nothing. I've got plans for the hallway. I'm gonna like wallpaper that in like black brick, like a black brick kind of removable, because I rent, like a black brick removable wallpaper, like a sticky back one. But I have nothing for like the kitchen. So my plan was to put this in the kitchen, which, yes, fantastic. But then I needed something for so I've got this big wall in the living room, I've got nothing on it. I do want to get these posters for it. I still may buy the posters, and if they don't fit in the frames, I'll just put them under the bed. But I wanted these, but they've got rounded corners, you see, and I wanted them to go into frames, which obviously don't have rounded corners. And so I wanted to see if they would fit with like I don't know, like those inserts you put into frames, which make it like go from A2 to like A3, and see if like they would cover the corners, but I don't think they would, just from getting their measurements off of Amazon. So that's kind of gone out the window now. I may still try it, because I don't kind of want my whole walls to be full of Coke bottle pictures, you know what I mean? But I have this plan, right? So I've got 3 pieces here of cardboard, right? Big pieces of cardboard. These are size A2. It's the boxes that my frames, not them frames, but them frames from the AJR wall came in a couple of months back, and I will insert the video. That'll be like the first bit of the time lapse. You'll probably see me cutting up those boxes to make all these pieces of cardboard. I've got more under my bed because I've got more art ideas, more craft plans, more painting plans that I want to do, so I've kept a few of them. But what we're going to do is we're going to cut these in half, right? So we're going to go from 3 big ones to 6, probably like that, because it'll be like half of that. So it's going to be 6 ones, and I want to, right, move this like this. So pretend that's half the size that it is, right? But I want to make a big Coke bottle picture, right, a big one of them to go on there, so it'll be going like down there, but it'll be that way and it'll be half of that size. Like a big Coke bottle there, and then I want them to be like, so if we do a red Coke bottle, a bit like that, but we'll do it up obviously like a lot more detail, but it'll be red with like red lines and then red pencil, like it'll be like that, but more in depth. That's what I'm thinking anyway. I don't really have much of a plan for it, but the background will be, so for example, we're going to go off these colours here, so move it closer for you. So on the green background one, on the cardboard, there will be a purple Coke bottle, and on the red background one there will be a blue Coke bottle, and on the purple background will be green, and on orange will be yellow. Do you kind of get what I mean? I know what I mean. You'll see as and when we do it. And so I was going to do like 6 ones this size, but A, I won't have enough cardboard for the other paintings that I want to do, and B, I tried to measure them, and if I want them all on the same wall, which could be an option, I can only do it if they're that big and not if they're that big. Get my drift, get the gist. Didn't know which one to say, so I tried to say both. And then we'll have either, because it did look okay like that, because they kind of are like roughly the same height that way, because they're going portrait way like that. But I kind of may want them all on the same wall. If they all fit on my living room wall, I may put them all up there, and then if I do get those other pictures and they do work with the frame thing, then I may put them up. But I am working on some Uno and styled things in my head. I'm not working on them because obviously I haven't made the video for them yet, but I'm working on them in my head, and I'm like jotting down some ideas for them, and they kind of match the same vibe. I do have paints, which hopefully if I have enough paint I'll be able to use it for all of them, so they will all kind of match the same sort of vibe. You know what I mean? And so that's what we're going to work on. The first thing that we're going to do, the first thing you'll see me do after you've seen me cut the boxes, which I filmed months ago. Like, when did I get those frames? Late February, early March, I'd like to say. Don't know when I recorded that, but that'll be the first thing that you'll see. Because I've just had that kind of, I don't know why I recorded it. I recorded it for another video. I was like, wait, that doesn't make any sense for this video because I'm not using them in this video. So I just kind of had them in the My Eyes Only section, or the hidden section on my iPhone, like the iPhone gallery. And I was like, I'll use them when I'm making this video just to keep everything coherent. You know what I mean? I like to record things. I like to do, oh, filled me move ring, everyone. Look at that. Oh, filled me move ring. Perfect week I've had. I would have like over like 300 days now of like perfect move ring, but one day I forgot to charge my watch and I fell asleep with it on. Usually what I do is I charge it, completely off topic, aren't we? Usually I charge it between like, so I'll fill my move ring now and I'll take it off now, which I'll do now to remind myself, and I'll put it on charge now, and I like to track my sleep, you see, that's why I got it. So I'll put it back on before I fall asleep. But some days when I'm really busy and most days I don't even have notifications on. It's only been recently that I've actually turned my Do Not Disturb off, like for the first time in like almost a year. I've just got it off now because I like to know when people need to get in touch with me. I'm a bit worried about somebody right now, and I just would like to know if I get a message from them, really. Well, I worry about everyone really because anxiety, but so I've turned Do Not Disturb off. So usually I wouldn't even get a notification that filled my move ring. So if I'm in the deep depths of writing or something, or whatever I'm doing, crafting, whatever, I'll forget, fall asleep, wake up, and I'll be just about to head out like to my parents' house, for example, and it'll die on me, and I'll be going all day without, so I won't fill my move ring. And only because one of those days it died before I woke up, and I didn't realise all day apparently that none of my data was recorded, and so I've got one day of just nothing, no rings at all. I think it's got like a little bit of like the red, but that's it. Otherwise I would have been able to. So I'm still counting it as like I've done it every day, but me just trying to make excuses for myself. Anyway, so then you'll see me try to cut these in half. Hopefully I don't ruin them. Hopefully I don't. The way I'm probably going to do it is measure, because we're cutting them down that way, aren't we? So the way I'll probably do it is get a tape measure, which I've got a clothing tape measure, like a soft one to wrap around your waist, which I've had for years. My parents had it, and then when I first moved in I needed to measure something and I didn't have a tape measure, so they lent me that one 3 years ago, as of yesterday when I'm recording this. happy 3 years of me living alone to me. And so I'll measure that, right, find the width of that, then find half, mark half, and then cut it in half using like some sort of straight item and like the measure or something straight. I don't have a spirit level, you see, or anything like that. So we may just have to eyeball it. But if we find the middle on this side and we find the middle on this side and we draw a very straight line between those 2 points, then it should be straight, shouldn't it? That's the way my brain's working. And then we'll just cut down there. I do have some sharp scissors, not like you can get like really sharp like meat scissors, can't you, to cut like meat and stuff, which people who use scissors in the kitchen, I once watched a TikTok the other week of someone cutting crusts off of bread with scissors. Now some people would say, you know, don't work smarter, don't work harder, work smarter. Like that seems like really easy, especially for people who really struggle to cut crusts off of bread. I really struggle with cutting anything, really. I usually just buy pre-packaged like fruits and stuff because I don't know. But it just feels wrong, it just doesn't feel right, you know what I mean? It's clever, but it just doesn't fit right in my head, you know? Anyway, enough talking, Alex. My throat seems perfectly fine right now, doesn't it? But I can feel it. I can feel it like here, and it's like aching here. And we don't know if it was COVID, but my mum said it was the worst kind of flu she's ever had. But she did do one COVID test and it did come up negative, but the COVID test was 2.5 years out of date. So it was like 2 years, 9 months out of date or something like that, from like 2023 or something like that, early 2023, I don't know. But hopefully I don't get unwell. Maybe I'll get so unwell that I won't even be able to lift my head off the pillow. Last time I had COVID, I was like that, and I was like that for about 2 weeks. It completely knocked me off my feet. That was in mid 2022. It was the one and only time that I've ever had COVID. Have I had it twice? No, but I did get really bad flu last October. The mid last October, I got like really bad flu or something. I don't know, but I was like bedridden again for like over a week, 2 weeks. Anyway, because I've got a low immune system because I hardly go outside the front door. Anyway, why do you want to go outside the front door when we've got Coke bottles to draw? I do have actually this, which I did originally get offline. Can't remember where, but I did get this stencil offline, and I kind of just drew it. And I think I've still got it somewhere. Couldn't tell you where it is though. I think it's in. I've got everything saved now onto my laptop, onto like the files thing. I've got everything. I've got like poems, craft ideas, documents, letters. Or like I've had to split my medical one in half, everything before 2021 and everything after 2021, because the way that I'm currently onto some sort of like diagnostic thing in my mental health thingies right now, which has been like 4 years in the waiting. 4 years ago I was 21 and a half, 22, and they're kind of going based off of everything that's happened since I've turned 21, because that's when I told them things went from like that, and it kind of shot up. Like my mental health, well, it didn't go up, my mental health went down, but like all my symptoms kind of skyrocketed after I turned 21, and so we're kind of really focusing on there and why thing. And so I've had to split all my medical documents up in two. And I need to get a new phone because I am running out of storage on that phone. I've had to turn my iCloud off of my phone because of that. Can you tell I'm really lonely? Because I would just speak to a camera all the time. I did change my clothes from the intro I did of the random class fit. I'm not in the same outfit because I've gone to my parents' house and then I've come home again. So, and got changed into a t-shirt, and I just threw some. I'm just going to get into bed after I've recorded this because it's like 8 o'clock, 8:30 at night, and I want to kind of relax. I'm going to probably take something to bed to do, probably cross stitch maybe. We might do some cross stitch or sat on my bed. I just want to sit on my bed because like the floor's hard, you know? I don't know. But hope everyone enjoys watching this Coke bottle. I'm going to put this intro. I've got a second YouTube. I don't use it for anything. It's literally one of my old accounts. And I'm going to put, I keep like, so I'm making this project, and the video for that, like the time lapse for that is nearly 2 hours long. And I don't have the storage on my phone for that right now. So I'm keeping that in the private part, like it's published to YouTube, but it's privated, so only I can see it, just for space reasons, just to keep it up there. It's kind of like in the the Google sphere of the cloud, really, isn't it? And so it's there, so I might do that with this, because even a 15-minute long intro, too much for my phone to handle right now, actually, when I'm not working on this video directly, because I may go between the two, you see, and I don't want to get the clips mixed up, you know what I mean? I want to kind of keep them separate. Don't know. So I just don't want to run out of room on my phone. I do really want to get the iPhone 16, like the 1TB storage one, literally just because I do YouTube and TikTok now. And every time I post a draft to TikTok, because I bulk record videos, it's just the way my brain works. I'll have one good day and I'll record like 3 or 4 TikToks in that space of time, and I'll upload them once a week or twice a week, because I'm scared of running out of poems. I know I've been writing consistently since I was like, what, 12? But I'm just, something in my head is like, I'm going to run out of poems. So I've constantly got some in the back burner. My brain's like, okay, we're not running out of poems today, we've got some. So that's the way my brain works, but that also takes up storage, and it always comes up when I'm on my drafts. iPhone storage almost full, delete them or risk losing, either post them or risk losing them or something like that. And I'm like, that kind of keeps me up at night, actually. Yeah. So I hope you enjoy watching this. Don't actually know what I'm actually going to do with this yet. I want to kind of make them, but I want to cut them kind of like really thick black outlines. Like that's my plan, like really juicy, thick. And then I kind of want it like around that. So, you know, like those art things, right? And they kind of go around the black with kind of like another colour pen. And then they colour it in like a lighter shade of something. So it kind of looks neon, or like it's glow like the... That's what I'm kind of going for in my head. But if you can hear that, that's my washing machine. I forgot to put the wash on while I went up today, so I'm doing everything now. And I'm getting, you can hear it in my voice, I'm getting sick, I can hear it. But prior planning and preparation prevents poor performance, as my dad would like to say. So yes, I will be off. You'll see what I do with it. I don't know myself, boys and girls, and non-binary pals, I know. Sorry for the skewed camera angle. I'm recording this on my phone because just finished my artwork, which I'll show you guys in a minute, but my camera is charging and I didn't want to wait 3 hours to make the intro. I wanted to, you know, edit this video and get this video uploaded while my camera's charging before I move on to my next project, because it's quite a grind right now because I've got loads of projects that I want to get done before I get these spells where these phases where I have all this energy, all this creative sort of energy. Don't know a better word to describe it. And I thought, oh, I might as well keep going. So these painting, right, let me go and I can carry it around now. I've got, now you're on my phone. Probably better recording on my phone for quite a lot of the time. So this is my painting that, I mean, I call it a painting very loosely. Let me put it here, and then I can't flip the camera, I don't think. Like, why have they not integrated that yet into iPhones, is to be able to flip the camera? Don't know. But this is the painting that I did. I mean, I did it originally. Lots of it's like peeling. I did this originally in like 2019, right about the pandemic, 2019, 2020 time. And these were originally, if I've got a picture of it, I'll put it up somewhere. But these were originally block coloured. And then when I moved out of my parents' house and into, sorry about the lighting, by the way, moved out my parents' house and into my house that I'm in now, this fold, you see, it's got, the cardboard just came with a fold. So I thought if I folded it, then it would be okay. But because I had Mod Podged it or something, or because some of the glue, the Mod Podge that I'd used had gotten like, not underneath, like on top of the thing, it stuck together and it completely destroyed parts of the painting. So I completely just redid it all. So I repainted all of the cola bottles and then I redrew these, and I decided to do these in, they look random. That's why I've brought this in, because I have to show people to explain. The colours look just totally random, but they're not. Like, there's, for this little bit, for example, there's one green, you know, so one orange, one red, one orange, one yellow, one green, one blue, one purple, and it's the same with everything. There's no two colours that are in the same place, if you get what I mean. So the caps, for example, there's a red, an orange, a yellow, a green, a blue, and a purple. And where there's, so you say green on the cap and then there's green on the cola bottle, it'll be the same. So there's purple on the cap and purple on the cola bottle. There's yellow on the cap and yellow on the cola bottle. Coca-Cola sign, I should say, blue, and it all intertwines. So when I created these ones, I wanted, I've got a clip now for my phone, like a ring to hold. So I can usually clip it onto my computer. Here you go. Who needs a tripod when you've got a laptop? So you'll have to excuse, I've got shorts on. It's like in the 20s in England, and I know that doesn't seem hot for like places like America and Australia, but it's hot. British homes are not built for the summer. I've got my fan on me right now, which I'm sorry if you can hear it. We don't have air conditioning. British homes are built to keep heat in, not expel heat. Houses are warm. It's probably warmer inside than it is outside. Anyway, so when I created these, so there's a purple one, an orange one, green, yellow, red, and then blue at the back. I was like, right, I want the colours. I don't want the colours to be random again. I want them to sort of interlink. I move back a bit, or I can move back. I wanted them to kind of interlink with these. So what I did was I took this section here. So we've got the yellow Coca-Cola sign on an orange background, and then the border of that is green. So if we find the yellow cola bottle, it's a yellow on an orange background with green as a border. And so if we look at this one, you've got the green one. So let's find this one. So we've got the green, but you can't really see the purple. There is like an outline of a used coloured card. There's green on purple on red. So the next one is purple on green on blue. So if we find this one, so it's purple on a green border on a blue background, and then we've got blue on red on yellow. So we look at for blue on red on yellow, and all these cola bottles are completely cut out individually. I did 600 like that. I started this project, I can't actually remember when I started it, but I had to cut out by hand on my own 656 cola bottles. Found out I did far too many because I have here all the leftover ones. There's easily 100 here, all of the different colours, probably about 20 of each colour, just under probably. Don't really know what to do with these. I'm going to keep them for now. I'm probably just going to put them in my craft box in case I want to make like maybe like a collage out of them or something, because they just, I cut, you know, I drew them. I didn't draw them all. I drew a page and I photocopied them, not because I didn't want, probably wouldn't have been able to draw them all, but because printer ink doesn't smudge when you paint over it with watercolour, and so I painted all of these and I didn't want the pen to smudge, and so that's why I photocopied them. But then I painstakingly, very neatly cut out each one, and it took months. That's what the painting them, or you know, printing them off and painting them all took a couple of days. Actually making them, like constructing them, took a couple of days. I started like constructing them about 2-3 days ago, but it was the actual cutting them out and even like colouring all of the big ones, which you would have seen in the time lapse, didn't even take that long. A week I think I spent on them, a little under a week. I did about 2 a day. One time I think I did 1 a day when I had a busy cleaning day or whatever, when I was busy elsewhere doing whatever, and it was cutting them out that took forever. I ended up buying some freezer bags like with seals on, 20 of them, and splitting them up individually into 20 groups, and then doing what I was like, right, if I do a small amount over 20 days, that doesn't seem like much, but it just built up and built up. So I dedicated a couple of days about 2 weeks ago, and I just all day I just put movies on, shows on, and that's all I spend like for a whole weekend just doing it. But I did finally get them done. So that I don't really know where I'm going to put them. So if we look at the last two, we've got orange, so it'll be the purple one. So we find the purple one, it'll be orange on yellow on purple, and then the orange background, which is the last one. We've got the orange background with the blue border, and in the middle is red, just like here. And so if I ever put them up on the wall, I won't put them up as like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. I'll probably put them up in the order, so I will have this one first, so the green one would go first, and then it would probably be the red one, wouldn't it? So the red one, and then the blue one, and then the yellow one, blue one, then yellow, then purple and orange, and that would be the order I would display them in, because that's the order that they go in the centre of the big painting. I'd probably do either 3 each side going like that, or 3 going down. I wouldn't really know. I just don't have enough walls. I've already got plans for the wall that I'm looking at right now. There's nothing on that wall. There is a wall there, but only either these could go on in like 2 rows, or that could go on. I couldn't have them both on because it's just not big enough. And I've got no other walls that I don't already have stuff on or have plans for. Why am I sitting so far away from the camera? You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm actually quite proud of them. Actually, I am. They're probably going to go, them and them are probably going to go back under my bed for now until I've figured out what I'm going to do with them, and they're going to go in my craft box under my bed. But yeah, they took absolutely forever. So now I'm going to spend a good couple of hours editing this video, because I've got, I want to clip the boring bits out the time lapse and all that, and add music or voiceovers or whatever I'm going to do. I haven't really decided yet. That yellow is very muted compared to I obviously made these a couple of years apart, so I didn't use the same paints, but the yellow on that is a very muted yellow compared to the yellow on the newer one. But it's all right. It just shows that, you know, they were made at 2 different points, but they do kind of match. That's just a blown up version of that, I guess. But yeah, hope everybody enjoyed. This video took far too long to make, and I'll be glad to see the other side of it. It was fun, but I've got a project that is a bit like this, but I want it to be, I don't exactly know, because with this one, I saw it when I was like 19 or 20. I saw it in a dream. I was like, right. I think what inspired me was the Coke bottle. From in McDonald's, I don't know if it was the same anywhere else in the world, but in England you could get like rainbow coloured glasses, like not like these glasses, but like drinking glasses, in like rainbow colours. And was it 2020 Olympics? Was that when they released it? It could have been the 2020 Olympics actually, when I originally created it, or something like that. And they brought out these promotional Coca-Cola glasses, drinking glasses, and I was like, oh my god, they would look great on a shelf. Like, eventually I found out that they didn't do like the full rainbow colours. I was gonna like collect them all and then put them on like a shelf and put the like this above it, but they didn't do like the full red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, which is what I was looking for. I think that's where the idea came from. But the next one I want to do is like an Uno, sort of in like red, yellow, green, blue, some sort of, I want to kind of have, I don't really know, like 4 and then a big thing in the middle, and like it comes together to make one painting. Or I don't know yet, but I do want to do the same sort of style, because these are very therapeutic to make, because I'm not a very good painter in terms of drawing with painting, if you get what I mean. Like, I'm not very good with a canvas and asked to draw like a landscape. I'm not very good at that. But when you ask me to create like abstract things like this, my brain just, some brains work differently. Everyone's brain works differently. My brain can just clock more abstract, very repetitive ideas better. And so I kind of want to do one with like Uno, because I do have a poem actually called Uno. It's on my TikTok. I think it's my 2nd or 3rd video on there. And Uno is a game close to my heart, for those who know. Yeah, so that'll probably be my next painting project. I do have other projects lined up before then. But yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed watching the painstaking. I didn't, again, like you probably noticed, I didn't record all of me cutting them out. I recorded maybe a quarter of it, because it was just so painstakingly boring. And when I was doing them, like, I would take some to my parents' house. Like, that's all I've had in my bag is a freezer bag. No matter where I was going, a freezer bag with a little pair of craft scissors with a little cap on. I'll show you the scissors, actually, a little pink pair of scissors with a little cap on that I was using, and a little freezer bag. Those were wrapped in the freezer bag with 20 or 30 cola bottles, and they would come with me every Sunday to my parents' house when I'd have dinner with them. Every time, you know, I'd go to visit them, see Indy the cat, and go visit my parents, and I'd just be I'd be sat in the garden sometimes doing it, I'd be sat on the sofa sometimes doing it. Sometimes I couldn't sleep, so I was taking some to bed with me. Like, they were my life. These things were my life since I think I started cutting them out about June, and it's now August, so maybe it was July, maybe it was early July, I can't remember. I'm fairly sure it was probably late June, if not earlier than that. Again, I can't remember. Time is a blur at the best of times, you know what I mean? But yeah, I am really, really, really glad to see the back of them, because that's all I've been looking at. I couldn't sit down, because I was like, right, if I'm sat down doing nothing, then I might as well be cutting cola bottles. So I didn't get a lot of them recorded, A, because I was doing them at awkward times and awkward places, and B, because I just didn't want my viewers sat there bored watching me cut the same things out. It's fun for me in moderation, but it's not going to be fun for everybody else, is it? No. So that was that. That's why you probably don't see as much. I did do them all myself. I swear to the Lord and Saviour, I did them all myself. My mum did offer, but I don't think she could have got the precision. Like, I wish I had my camera, because it's better at focusing. But they're perfect. Most of them are perfect, and my hand was cramping. But yeah, was worth it in the end. I really do like my paintings. Just wish I had walls to put them up on, really, but I am looking to move I've been saying this now for over a year, but I'm not just going to jump from the frying pan into the fire. The only time I'm going to move is if I can move into somewhere with 2 bedrooms so I can have an office, because I do want to start streaming again eventually, and I do want to like an actual office for that, so I can have a decent background and all that sort of stuff. But they can stay under my bed until the day comes. I think these are quarter the size of this, because these are A3. They're a little under quarter of the size of this painting. These are A3. This painting's a little bit bigger than A1. So I'll stop twittering now. But yeah, hope you enjoyed.